Well, the ring is starting to fill up. There are 6 men in there now, then 2 referees and an announcer. And we'd better give the announcer an opportunity to do his job and get out. So here's Boyd Pierce.
This event for the championship trophy in the center of the ring. 3 men on each team. There will be 1 man in each ring. The third member will be between the rings and will be eligible to tag in either one. Your contestants, ladies and gentlemen, the corner to my right, the 3 of the masked spoiler, Larry Lane, and the world-renowned continental lover, Eddie Mansfield. And across the ring, their opponents, the popular trio of Houston, Texas, Tom Prichard. Houston, Texas, Tiger Conway Jr. And the third man on the team, recent victor of an international championship in Japan, the claimant to the world junior heavyweight title, Chavo Guerrero.
Well, somebody just made me a present of the huge trophy for which these men are going to wrestle. And with a microphone in one hand and the trophy in the other, I'm having some problems. But now we've got it safely under the ring, and it will be given to the men who win it, the team that wins it. Pretty good competition up there, I want to tell you. The spoiler is the man with the mask. Eddie Mansfield is the blonde, and Larry Lane is the other man in that team. So it's Chavo Guerrero, it's Tiger Conway Jr., and Tom Prichard as the 3 men. So you got the rules. We'll give them to you as we go along. There are 2 rings. 1 man from each team is in the near ring, the one with the white canvas. The spoiler and Tiger Conway Jr. are the men. In the far ring, it's Chavo Guerrero and Big Larry Lane, the former amateur star and trying to win his spurs in the professional game. Eddie Mansfield is between the rings, and so is Tom Prichard. Now the men between the rings can tag on either side. They may go into either ring and the action continues. Spoiler, big man, wears that glove on his right hand, applies the claw hold with a lot of power and a lot of strength, and also uses the ropes as a means of getting in an aerial attack on his opponents. So Eddie Mansfield makes a switch with the spoiler. Chavo Guerrero on the far side has a double wrist lock on Larry Lane. And here Mansfield is trying to continue elbowing Conway Jr. There's a touch. It brings the spoiler in, and that huge 275-pounder comes down with a lot of authority. He is a tough customer. And there is Conway underneath. There's 1 and there is 2. And now in the center between the 2 rings, Tom Prichard is taking issue with Eddie Mansfield for having interfered in the match. Spoiler diving into Tiger Conway. Conway now avoiding in the near ring, doing a nice job of it. And a beautiful stomach throw. And in the far ring, Larry Lane is being thrown around by Chavo Guerrero. A lot of action spilling over in all directions. Tom Prichard has touched with Chavo. He is spinning Larry Lane around, and Lane hits that corner, and Tom goes to work on him. So we've got Conway holding his own against the spoiler, and now against Eddie Mansfield. Underneath is Tom Prichard, but he bounced out from underneath there, and Larry Lane grabs hold of him again. Mansfield moves over, pays attention on that side, and touches Lane to go in the far ring. The action in the near ring continues with Conway with a reverse chin lock on on the spoiler. Tom being whomped, and you can hear the noise from the Tom Prichard fan club, which is a great and a big organization here in Houston, particularly where Tom got his wrestling start. There is one, there is two, and out from underneath goes Tom Prichard as Eddie Mansfield snares him by the head and tries to jerk him back. Chavo Guerrero goes into the ring closest to you against the spoiler. So Tiger Conway is between the rings, and so is Larry Lane. There is Chavo Guerrero being mauled by the massive spoiler, rated by many as America's greatest masked wrestler. In the far ring, Tom Prichard has just been held down by Eddie Mansfield. Reverse chinlock by Mansfield, and Prichard trying to fight his way out from underneath. Prichard starts to fight his way up to his feet. There is the slam into the turnbuckle, and Larry Lane comes in, and Mansfield was still holding on to young Tom Prichard. Oh, he caught him on the jaw that time and belted him down to the canvas. Tom taking a lot of punishment in here. He is probably the lightest man on tonight's card, and it goes everywhere from his 195 pounds right up to the 500 of the Andre the Giant and the 650 of Big Mike. Chavo on the outside, Conway on the inside. Prichard being worked over. Here comes Chavo Guerrero fighting his way into the ring, trying to get to Tom Prichard to try to equalize things. And the spoiler has just been drop kicked over the rope. The knee of Eddie Mansfield was stuck into the ring, and they're doubling up on Tom Prichard. Old trick. One man trying to get out of is due to get out of the ring, but before he gets out, he goes into a double attack with his partner. There is Tiger being held, and he got out of the way, and that amazed look was on the face of Larry Lane. A lot of giving and taking out there, and a smash in the center of the ring, and the spoiler is hung up in the ropes, and the spoiler is vulnerable right now as Tom Prichard comes back at Eddie Mansfield and starts to lambaste him in that far ring. Working Eddie over, he has thrown him into that turnbuckle, and he's going after him. Listen to that crowd as they come to life for Tom Prichard, and Prichard just threw a drop kick and missed. This crowd here in a frenzy, screaming for young Tom Prichard to belt him, and he was doing it. There's a clothesline dive. Prichard is down. We may have a fall. We've got a fall. The first fall goes.
The winners of the first fall, 6 minutes, 48 seconds, Eddie Mansfield, Larry Lane, and the spoiler.
So the first fall goes to the team of Eddie Mansfield. He scored the fall. Larry Lane, he's raising his hand as well. And the third man of that team is the spoiler. And we'll be back here for the second fall of this 2 out of 3 fall battle right after we have this word from the studio.
3, 2, 1, the bell.
And now the bell for the start of fall number 2. And Tom Prichard is on his feet and looks like he's going to stay in that far ring. And in the near ring to you, it's the spoiler and Tiger Conway Jr., who should know each other pretty well by the time this match is over. Tom Prichard being And Eddie Mansfield has just gotten out of the ring and slammed Tom Prichard down on the hard floor of the Coliseum. But in the middle, between the rings, they have the lamb-basted Chavo Guerrero into the turnbuckle, and he is down. And Larry Lane has gotten into the ring to start after Tiger Conway Jr. Outside, Tom Prichard, and Prichard starts to blast back at Eddie Mansfield. And there is a quick entrance into the ring by Tom Prichard as he fights back at Mansfield and goes after him with a vengeance. And the big blonde is in the corner. But here comes the spoiler, and the spoiler lays one into young Tom. And Tom now, who is outweighed by almost 100 pounds against the spoiler, finds himself the victim of a body slam as spoiler picks him up and drops him across the rope. And in the close ring, it's Larry Lane working his points on Tiger Conway, but Tom Prichard just tagged the spoiler with a beautiful drop kick and knocked him back, and then tagged Chavo Guerrero, and Guerrero comes in there to upend the big masked man. And here is a quick exchange, and Chavo, with some of that magic of his, goes into the air and hits the spoiler. Spoiler, a tough individual, takes him down to the canvas. But now Tom Prichard, between the ropes, is trying to keep Eddie Mansfield, if nothing else, neutral here. But he was pitching in to help Larry Lane. Conway is down. Here is Mansfield dropping on him, and the Tiger is held underneath. A tough combination. Mansfield, Lane, and the spoiler. And Mansfield now taking on Tiger from the rear, hanging on to a reverse chin lock and a handful of hair, bears down on the head of Tiger Conway, who is fighting his way up. Conway is held in a hold, but he has gotten out of it. Chavo Guerrero is held in the far ring. And Mansfield tries to ride Conway, and he failed miserably. Outside, Tom Prichard lent the hand, and so did Larry Lane. So we've got three separate pitched battles going on in this six-man battle as the spoiler uses his claw hold on Chavo Guerrero in that far ring. Spoiler's in the position now to win this match for his team as Prichard got into the ring. Conway got out, so it's Lane and Prichard in the close ring. It's the spoiler and Chavo in the far ring. It's Mansfield and Conway between the rings, ready to tag in or out. Leg dive by Tom Prichard, and he drops away at the leg of Larry Lane. Spoiler is working that claw hold of his in that far ring, and he's doing an expert job on Chavo, and Chavo, with the guts that comes of a great heritage. His father was a wrestler before him, fought his way out of that one. So in this ring, Larry Lane takes advantage of the preoccupation of the referees, and here's Tom defending himself. Back heel trip after he caught that leg, and he pours it to Larry Lane. Spoiler has the claw hold again. The brain claw on Chavo Guerrero in that far ring. And Lane again is caught by Tom Prichard. And there is Tiger Conway between the rings, trying to keep Eddie Mansfield partially honest.
5 minutes.
5 minutes have gone by, and the hold again by the spoiler is the claw hold, but in comes Tiger Conway to use that headbutt and he used it on the spoiler that time and used it well. Chavo moves over to the corner to get out of the ring, and Tiger Conway Jr. now is getting these fans behind him. In the close ring, Larry Lane starts to work on Tom Prichard. There goes Mansfield in the ring to take on Tiger Conway. And Conway picks him up, the atomic drop, and oh! He dove him into the turnbuckle with the force of the blow from his knee. Listen to these fans as they scream and let loose with a roaring attack. Prichard putting up a whale of a battle in the close ring against big Larry Lane. There he hit him with a two-handed chop. Larry Lane come off that to land on Tiger Conway Jr. This could be it. Mansfield is trying to get up on the rope and to come down on Tiger. The referee's trying to put a stop. We may have a body slam off that top rope. We've got it. He slammed him and slammed him hard. Conway climbing the rope. Conway looking to dive. Conway diving and catching him with a headbutt. It's Conway on top. Whoa, he's gonna fall.
The winner to the second fall in the time of 7 minutes, Tiger Conway Jr., Tom Prichard, and Chavo Guerrero.
So Tiger Conway Jr. has evened the falls. There's the team that evened them. Conway, Prichard, and Chavo Guerrero. We have one fall to go in this sensational two-ring, six-man tag team battle. A type of competition that we originated here in Houston and of which we are justifiably proud. We have it maybe once, sometimes twice a year, but not very often. And here, we think you are able to see some of the wild wrestling action at its best. We'll be back here in a moment after we have this word from the studio.
2, 1, the bell.
Well, as the bell sounds, we've still got three men from the same team in the one ring. Now they are starting to divide. Chavo Guerrero goes into the ring closest to the camera, and he is going to face Larry Lane. Tom Prichard is between the rings, and so is the spoiler. And there is a little switching going on. Tom Prichard's going back in ring number one. Tiger Conway is trying to get Eddie Mansfield out of the corner and into action. The fans are behind. The fans are behind Tiger, and they are screaming at his cheerleading efforts. Tiger in that far ring makes Mansfield miss, but he doesn't miss, and he doesn't miss with a drop kick either. That's in that far ring, and he has mauled Eddie Mansfield. In the close ring, Tom Prichard and big Larry Lane. And Lane with a twisting arm lock on the young Houstonian, who is a hot favorite in Los Angeles and all over the West Coast. He has come home visiting and walked right into a hornet's nest in this match. Smash into the ring, and the spoiler went after Tiger Conway Jr., but as he went after him, Tiger avoided him, and it looks like spoiler could have hurt that right hand of his when he missed what was an effort to make a diving application of the claw hold. Mansfield and Tom Prichard in the close ring, and Prichard is on the floor and gets 20 to get back in the ring. And the far corner, it is Spoiler, who is not applying the claw hold, but looks to me like he's applying a choke hold with that same gloved hand. There's Tom Prichard back into the clutches of Eddie Mansfield. And you can see what Mansfield is trying to do. In comes Larry Lane, and they start mauling away. And the Spoiler has been caught in the ropes by the neck in the far rope. Spoiler is hung by the neck, and Tiger Conway is going after his mask. Eddie Mansfield coming into the ring to try to help the Spoiler. The Spoiler's out of the ropes now, but Tiger Conway's arm is stuck. These ropes are steel cable covered with rubber, and as the ropes come together, they have come down tight on his arm, and the Spoiler was hanging on to the arm, making sure that Tiger Conway didn't come out of this without being injured. Now, in the near ring, Lane and Mansfield are working over Tom Prichard, but, and I mean doubling up on him. So Conway has gotten a bad arm out of this. The Spoiler must certainly have gotten a bad neck out of this. And they are still in the far ring, but the Tiger tagged Chavo Guerrero, but the referee didn't see it. And Chavo is being put out of the ring. Tom Prichard has been thrown out of the ring. It's Eddie Mansfield in ring number 1. It's the Spoiler working over Tiger, who legitimately tagged Chavo Guerrero, but now finds himself on the floor. Here is the effort by Prichard, who is working from the floor and slamming away at Eddie Mansfield, who is vulnerable right now. Chavo Guerrero is back between the ropes, and he wants to tag the he wants to tag somebody. He wants to get in that ring. Tiger Conway is having his problems. That arm isn't functioning properly right now, and the Spoiler is working over him in no uncertain fashion. Here is Chavo. That's Tom Prichard, trying to get back in that ring where he can go after, but Mansfield has caught up to him and wails away at him. There's a dangerous thing to do, but Prichard did it, and it got him into the ring. 5 minutes have gone by in this third fall, and Spoiler bounces across the ring. He missed an effort to throw a knee into the back of Tiger Conway Jr., and as his leg went over the top rope, you can see what happened. It hooked under the top turnbuckle, and Tiger is banging away at his knee with his head. And in the near ring, it's Chavo Guerrero, who is flailing away at Eddie Mansfield, who is hung up slightly in the corner. Chavo diving through the air. Chavo on top. There's the count. But the leg of Eddie Mansfield goes over the rope. Spoiler is back in the ring, trying for the claw, and you saw Tiger block it. That headbutt was a beauty in that far ring. And Eddie Mansfield touches Larry Lane, and in comes Lane, but he walks right into the clutches of Chavo Guerrero, who is ready for him, and flails away at him with a whirling attack here. Fist and then feet. And Lane, backed up into the ropes, is caught, and whoa, they ganged up on Chavo that time. Chavo now catching it from Mansfield on the outside of the ring, and here comes Chavo into the ring against the Spoiler. The Spoiler touches with Spoiler touched that time with Larry Lane. It's Lane and Chavo in the far ring. It's Mansfield, who is out of the ring and holding on to Tom Prichard. Prichard has Mansfield by his long blonde hair and is trying to pull him into the ring. Drop kick by Chavo Guerrero in that far ring. Chavo now trying to set up Larry Lane, and Conway trying to clear the deck for young Tom Prichard. Lane came off that turnbuckle that time and hit Chavo in that far ring. So we've got action going between the rings. The Spoiler taking on Tiger Conway. There was the sunset flip, and Chavo Guerrero in the far ring won the third and deciding fall. What a tremendous war-whooping finish to this battle as Chavo Guerrero won the deciding fall by pinning Larry Lane. This crowd here at the Sam Houston Coliseum is going absolutely crazy. There are the winners of the 6-man, 2-ring tag team event for 1981. A great victory for that trio, a great victory. So the cheering squad is around this ring in no uncertain terms. And the thousands who are sitting up in the seats and watching are yelling and are equally enthusiastic. Look at those people as they scream for the team of Conway, Prichard, and Chavo.